Now your microclimate forecast, presented by Bill Howe. Here's meteorologist Carlene Chavis.
Very dry out there,
Yes.
very windy, and we just have less than 24 hours to go now.
That's true. That's the plus side,
Right.
because then we're in the clear as we go into the weekend. We'll still be dry, but the winds will calm down.
Yeah, our region's been pretty good so far.
So far, so good. I keep knocking on wood every
Right.
single
Use
time I
the wood.
pass
Use
by.
his head.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm all good with that.
It's fine. Well, then I'm going to knock on your head tomorrow, too. We're still talking about the fact that we are dealing with these very dry conditions. So high winds, dry air, warmer than average west of the mountains, and that will be the case for tomorrow as well. We are still under that fire weather watch, or excuse me, that red flag warning. Fire weather conditions will remain into tomorrow. For today, we had a high that was 1 degree above average. Not too bad for the downtown at 74 degrees. Ramona was about 5 degrees above average, but on the flip side, below average for Borrego Springs. The desert as well as the mountains are dealing with colder than average air, and so that's because of Santa Ana winds. They are typically cold, but then once they cascade down those coastal mountain slopes, that's when they warm up. So warmer than average west of the mountains tomorrow, staying below average for the mountains and the desert by Friday. 63 degrees current temperature, clear skies. We saw those low clouds clearing out rather quickly this morning because we had the offshore flow start to pick up. Current wind speed of 3 miles per hour for downtown, winds out of the north, and also we're seeing that humidity return. So right along the immediate coast, we have high humidity values, but the farther you go inland, you're seeing a difference. So we're talking about the teens right now, and that's at 15% for Julian, also 10% for Mount Laguna, 8% for Ramona. Still holding on to that dry air into tomorrow, 6% in Campo. I want to go ahead and set the clock in motion. You can see that those digits are going to go even further down. So 5% for Escondido tomorrow, under 10% for Poway and Vista. Very dry conditions, especially with the winds picking up, gusts potentially into the 30s and even up to the 50s and 60s by tomorrow. That will also make its way towards the coastal areas. We're talking about not as low as inland valleys, but still fairly low by the afternoon hours. At 4:30, getting down to 25% for downtown Del Mar, at 28%, and then rebounding as we go into Saturday's forecast because we will start to have an onshore flow. So high pressure still courtesy of all the Santa Ana winds picking up, and that will be the case into tomorrow. An onshore flow will resume as we go into the weekend, and that will bring us away from the 80s by tomorrow for the coast, back down to the low 70s by Sunday. Also seeing a change in our forecast for the inland valleys. We will go back into those low 80s, really comfortable by next week. So not talking about a fire danger. We're looking at temperatures still below average for the mountains and desert by tomorrow, then rebounding into the weekend. We're still going to be dry as we go into Saturday, just not as dry as we will be with those single digits, especially below 10% for relative humidity, but calmer winds would be nice.
We're feeling it. I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah, I am raspy. I'm chugging water
nonstop.
nonstop.
All right, thanks,
It's dry.
Carlene.
You're welcome.